As I said before, there are two different approaches to greenhouse microclimate control. In the Northern Europe, the tendency is to optimize the greenhouse environment in order to attain the potential crop production. Therefore, in these countries, a maximum climate control of the environment to completely fulfill the planned requirements is in place. The variables of light, temperature, air and soil humidity, and the CO2 content of the atmosphere are computer programmed and controlled 24 hours per day. As a result, maximum crop yields are achieved. In the southern or Mediterranean countries, on the contrary, the prevailing trend is rather to adapt the plant to a non-optimal condition, to a non-optimal environment. And in these countries, moderate investments are common and little climate control systems are in place besides the natural ventilation. The suboptimal conditions are common for plant production, and as a result, lower yields than high-tech greenhouses are obtained or are achieved. Unfortunately, the existing technology and know-how developed in the Northern European countries are generally not directly transferable to the Mediterranean growers. In addition, the high-level technology developed in Northern European countries is out of reach for most of the Mediterranean growers due to the financial capabilities. Therefore, taking into consideration this fact, it is a need to initiate by the research institutes and external services of Mediterranean countries a number of research activities in order to fulfill the following objectives: to extend the growing season and the period of use of the shelter, of greenhouse shelters, to reach the satisfactory level of marketable yield and quality similar to the Northern European countries, and of course to increase the net income of their farming systems. As you can see from this graph, the differences regarding the yield due to the different microclimate control approaches are very big. Let's have the example of tomato, which is an average 150 tons per hectare in the Mediterranean countries, while it exceeds 500 tons per hectare in the Northern European countries. And the same, even higher differences are regarding the cucumber yield, cucumber production. In addition, the level of microclimate control have a significant effect on the water use efficiency. As you can see from this table, while the water use efficiency in open field production reaches the level of 14 to 17 kilograms per cubic meter, by using unheated plastic greenhouses can be increased up to 25 or even further to 33 or 47 kilograms per cubic meter. And as well, due to the improvements in the microclimate control systems, the water use efficiency can be increased further up to 66 kilograms per cubic meter. And this is a very important issue, since water is one of the most scarce natural resources of the world. The same conclusion can be drawn from the graph here, and you can see there's again huge differences regarding water use efficiency for each specific crop in between the Mediterranean countries and the Netherlands, totally due to the significant differences exist in between these countries regarding the microclimate control. Well, let's see now some limits and problems of protected cultivation in the Mediterranean region, since most of our countries belongs to this. We already said that there are limited options for Mediterranean growers to control the microclimate of their greenhouses, and therefore some specific problems very often occurs in this area. First, there are high indoor temperatures, which start typically from May to August, and makes it almost impossible the year-round cultivation in the Mediterranean region. Therefore, the production is generally seasonal and with two peaks. In the Mediterranean region, it is common to have a high relative humidity inside the greenhouses, and this reduces crop transpiration, which from its side might impair the leaf cooling and promote the incidence of nutrient-related physiological disorders like the calcium deficiency. Next, in the conditions of mild winter temperature, high internal humidity, the open structure of common shelters of the Mediterranean region, the lack of heating, and in many cases the irrational management of crop residues commonly facilitate the proliferation of pests and diseases and make the biological control inside the greenhouses quite difficult. All this together results in a large amount of applied pesticides in the Mediterranean climate. There are two practices in the Mediterranean region which often limits the photosynthetic rate of the plants and consequently negatively affects the plant growth and the yield. The whitewashing during the summertime and the poor ventilation in the wintertime. The first results in a low light transmission and the reduced photosynthesis due to that, and the second also affects the level of CO2 inside the greenhouse. It might lead to CO2 depletion inside the greenhouse, and the same, it negatively affects the photosynthetic rate of the plant. In addition to that, in the Mediterranean greenhouses are common large temperature fluctuations. I mean, the differences between daytime and nighttime temperatures are very big. Even might happen that in cold, clear winter nights, a phenomenon called as thermal invasion might occur, and this will be fatal for the plants grown inside the greenhouse, because due to this phenomenon the temperature inside the greenhouse drops below the outside night temperature. Next to this, the production in greenhouse vegetables is based on soil rather than on solar systems, and this makes the production depending on the frequent soil desertification and organic fertilization. It does not allow the fine-tuning of irrigation and fertigation, and do not allow the recirculation of drainage water. All these are crucial for high crop performance and efficient use of both water and nutrient, and this is one of the reasons why we have such a big differences in the water use efficiency and nutrient use efficiency in between Mediterranean countries and Northern European countries. And last but very important, the harvest period of open fields in Mediterranean region tends to overlap the protected crops, and this might have significant negative consequences in the market price of greenhouse vegetables. Having such a big number of issues or problems, there is a need for significant improvement in the Mediterranean greenhouse industry. They might include the improvement regarding the structure and climate control, cropping and cultivation techniques, and water and nutrient management, and finally environmental issues. There need to be improvement regarding structure and climate control, and it should be addressed to improve solar radiation, especially in the winter time, to reduce the excessive daytime temperature and increased winter nighttime temperatures without using external energy. And we talk later on this course about passive solar heating systems as an alternative to do that. And regarding with cropping and cultivation techniques, there are attempts to further diversify the production in Mediterranean greenhouses, counting not apart from the vegetable crops, also flowers, berries and fruit trees. And there is an increasing use of grafting as an alternative to environmentally friendly alternative to control not only pests and diseases, but also some abiotic stresses, and there are significant improvement regarding fruit setting, including the use of insect pollinators. Water and nutrient management is asking for significant improvements regarding the quality of water and proper management, regarding plant nutrition and extensive use of the soilless production systems, especially in the areas where the natural soil, the fertility of natural soil is not adequate. And lastly, but very important, significant attention must be paid regarding the reduction of the negative impacts of greenhouse industry in the environment, and to do that, life cycle analysis should be conducted, and also extensive use of integrated pest management practices should be better employed or used.